set if we don't record this. Okay. This is the tool that I created, and of course, being a technical kind of cat that I am, I created the tool in Excel.
Okay.
This what you're looking at right now. Can you see this Excel sheet?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a title block, and first we start with a bid number, and we have a bidding nomenclature, if you will, for that, a naming convention, where the first 4 digits is actually the date. The next 2 is the next sequence bid. So this was the 85th bid, and we did it on July 28th. So 072885 is where that comes from. And then the last 2 digits is the service type. We have 3 main services, and our key service is traffic control. So that's 01. Then we come to the next, and we just pick what type of estimate it is. Is it directional? Is it final? Is it to the proposal form? And is it a final form? And we have directions as to what each of these mean, but I just want to give you an overview. And then, okay, the service type. So we have, like I said, we have 3 key: traffic control, pavement marking, and pressure washing. And then the others are kind of like a combination. This is a traffic control bid that we're reviewing right now.
Okay.
Then bid date, when the project starts, the duration, all good header material. Customer in this case was a general contractor called GLR, and it was a traffic control job, and it's new. The distinction in Texas we make between new construction and a rehab, because in Texas we have an edict where there is no taxes on new construction. So that's where that's important to make that distinction. The end customer, so just some of the naming conventions so that we all understand, because it's layers of customers, right? So my first customer was GLR. So that is the general contractor. This is the contractor that is going to be pulling all the subcontractors together to make this 7-Eleven happen in this case. Our ultimate customer, everyone's customer, is 7-Eleven. I don't know if you're familiar with those, Abdullah, but it's a kind of like a gas station and convenience store.
Okay.
Address, and then where we pulled the bid from, the order derivation was from a bid board called Building Connected, and I'll show you that later as well. And then the next thing that's important is, okay, what specification are we using to generate this bid? Well, this came from the Plan Set 4227 Architecture and Civil Engineering drawings.
Okay.
All this was derived from this Building Connected bid board. They have the prints and everything on there.
The Building Connected, that's the tool you're using now, or is that some other tool?
No, sir.
I mean,
The Building Connected is a bid board.
Can you show us that?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Got it
Because this
already.
is something where, Abdullah, we may be able to leverage APIs to pull the data from this.
Yes. Yep.
So this is Building Connected, and this is the
Oh, it's an
bid
Autodesk
board.
product?
Oh, is it?
Or I see Autodesk in the top left corner.
Okay. That's your world, brother.
All right. So I guess I'm trying to think of, so do you have to sign up to use this tool?
I
Is this a
do.
government tool?
No, sir. This is a private tool, and Autodesk is one of the gates. Like for me, you'll be educating me. That's building connected is what I think I'm going to, but there is a stage where it's Autodesk and I'm signing in to Autodesk, whatever that means.
So we have to understand that, Abdullah, because if you're getting the drawings off of here,
Yep.
right? And then you're storing them somewhere. I'm assuming you're storing them on a file or something. I mean, on your
Yep.
hard drive or something like
That's right.
that.
That's
But you
right.
want that file to be associated with this bid or quote.
Absolutely. That's right. Absolutely. And that, if you were to write down, I'm gonna start a gap list. That's a gap right now for the bidding tool that I end up using. So I'm showing you the Excel tool that I created, just so you have a visual. JobTread is the bidding tool, the software that I commissioned. And in my mind, I was going to start moving from Excel to this JobTread software. Already been training to do that. But one of the gaps with JobTread, and the reason why I called you, Lindsay, is wait a minute. I'm going to stop giving them all the I'm going to stop asking them to turn their tool into something different. We can do
Yeah.
that. So one of the gaps is that they put on JobTread, and I hope I'm throwing a lot of different
No,
softwares
this is
out there.
good. This is
Okay,
good.
all right.
And this is called auto trade.
This something triggered you to say Autodesk. That means something
Oh,
to
okay.
you. That
Yep. Yep.
doesn't mean anything to me.
So in the top black in the board, there's a black border above the page.
Yep, right here.
Like, yeah. So it's got Autodesk, which is a company, and they do a lot with CAD stuff. So you remember back in your engineering days, you used Autodesk for CAD? Or did
Oh,
you
that's the auto. Oh yeah, I remember AutoCAD.
Yep. Yep. So Autodesk, they're a big company for doing CAD drawings and stuff like that. So
Mm, okay, all right.
that's, I guess, the thing we would look at is, you know, maybe that's a product that Autodesk sells called Autodesk Construction
Mm,
Cloud. And but you say you don't know if you're paying for it, right?
I'm not paying for it.
Okay, so
There,
somebody, is the government paying for it or who's paying
no,
for it?
no. This is a private. So this is all private. I'll show you a government bid board later, but this is all private. Um, and they want to upsell you, so just like that model that we talked about on our sub to sub, right?
Okay.
They're giving me limited access, right? Here's the
Okay.
upsell. Here's an upsell opportunity, right? They give me a little teaser here, Lindsay, and they say, okay, two other general contractors are bidding on this project.
Okay. If you want to see those,
If I want to see those, here we go. Start your free trial.
yeah. Okay.
And it's intriguing because hell, if there's two other GCs, if I'm gonna do a quote, I could be doing a quote to three instead of just to one. So it's an intriguing upsell
You
that I've
know
never
what it
taken.
costs?
I've never gone that step.
Okay.
Uh,
Because that's, if once we kind of lay out the process, we
yeah,
may decide that we want to license to this so that we can automate the process of being able to pull the data from here. Because right now, the process would be you download it from here and then you
right.
upload it to our site, to that particular record. So when I say record, I'm talking about the particular bid or quote
That's right.
that yeah. And
That's right.
so I think what you're saying here though is that one of the limitations of the free one is, well, one of the benefits of the paid is that now you can, instead of just having two people you're bidding to, you can bid to four.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Now let me show you here, since you're talking about that. Let's look at one that we are working. So we're working this Whataburger bid right now.
Okay.
Whataburger is a hamburger
Yep. Yep. I
chain.
met him in Austin, Texas.
There you go.
They're
So
all over
Abdul,
the place in Texas.
yep, there you go. Abdul, it's a big chain here in Houston, Texas. All right, so so if I double click here, so to your point, Lindsay, all that header stuff that I'm typing in, it's already here. So it's totally inefficient for me to be retyping that stuff.
Okay. Yep. So we can pull in not just the drawings, but a lot of the other defining content.
Right, right. And a gap with JobTread, the software that I'm using that I thought was going to replace Excel, they're not connected with this building connected.
Okay.
So that is something to take a look at. That's another gap. They're not linked with building connected.
So you keep calling it building connected. So when you like find it, because I see where it's got building connected under it, yeah, right
Yep.
there. So when you come to building connected, it's just some website, and like you say, they're trying to upsell you. Um, it's made by Autodesk or some product that's so associated with Autodesk somehow.
Yep.
Um, but they're basically collecting all of these quote opportunities. Is that essentially
So,
what they're doing?
right. So general contractors. So in this case, okay, who's the GC on this one? This is Scott and Reed Contractors Incorporated. So Scott and Reed, they pay to be on Building Connected.
Okay.
They're the general contractor and they pay to be on Building Connected. Why? Because they can get to all the subs that way.
Okay.
And the subs don't have to pay, but the GCs have to pay.
Okay. So we're not talking about replacing this at all.
No,
We're just talking about using this as a data source.
just as a data source, right? Because this is my main bid board, right?
Okay.
Right, right. Yep. So you just understand the main bid board. And I want you to see, and I just kind of want you to kind of, I'm walking you through how we do it, right? So,
This is perfect.
okay, good. So what I train, so you're gonna, this is pretty, this is pretty cool because there's only 2 files. Sometimes there's dozens of files, right? When you go to this file thing, and what I always train my people is, look, it's you got to prioritize, right? So we're talking drawings. What file? If I had to open one, open the largest file. That's gonna be the drawing set.
Yeah.
This other one is probably welcome to the team or something. It's fine, but we want to get to the drawings. you
Right.
know?
Right.
And so this
Okay.
is the drawing here, and it's 36.4 meg. Another gap with with bidding software is that they don't have a good way to put these prints into their software. And so that's a
You
huge
say
gap.
a good way to put the prints in this software. What do you mean? Because I mean, it's here. It's a file that's loaded. What do you
Right.
mean?
So, but I don't want, but let me make, all right, let me make it clearer. This is, this tool here is where I go to get the information about the bids. It's not where I go to create a bid.
Gotcha. Let me write that down first. All right. So
Yeah. This is a bid board,
auto.
it's called. Yeah.
Okay. Building connected.
Is a bid board.
So bid board.
So it's kind of
Okay.
like, so like put in your mind, like Lindsay is kind of like it's called a bid board because in times of old, it would actually be on a whiteboard, all of your bids, right? So
Yeah.
this is automation the of what bids are needed.
Okay. So this is where the bids are posted.
Yes,
And all
sir.
right. And then the other tool,
This
the
tool,
job tread, that's where you try to create a response or
yes, sir.
estimate.
Yep. This is where you do the estimates. This is an estimating tool. Yeah, this is an estimating
Okay.
tool.
All
All right.
right.
So now back to the Excel. So now that's good. That's all that's good. That's good information. So back to the Excel. Now, the reason why we showed you job tread is because, oh, go ahead, Abdullah.
Were you saying something, Abdullah?
No, sir. I'm not saying anything.
Oh,
Okay,
thank you.
okay. All right.
It was just an echo in the background.
All right. So here's the Excel tool. Um, so everything just kind of, so this is another little header just on top of this Excel sheet, and it just pulls right from that title block. Nothing special there. This pulls from the title block too. It's a traffic control estimate. It's a monthly rate, and here's it's labor and materials. Here's the columns, bid number, task, unit, etc. It speaks for itself. Then you come here, and this is a specific type of bid called traffic control. And what we've done over time, we've created packages. We've learned enough to know that, look, typically we have either a single lane closure, a double lane closure, or maybe a 4-lane closure. So this particular job calls for a double lane closure. So we already have a package for that.
So that's like your product, and you would call that almost like your product slash service. I guess maybe
Yep,
if you had a catalog, this would be one of the items in your catalog of
that's
products
right.
and services you sell. Okay.
There you go. And in fact, here
And
it is. Here's our price list. Here's our catalog, if you will.
yep, price list, catalog, perfect. Price list.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And even what was helpful with Job Tread to kind of migrate into their system, they needed cost codes, which was we didn't have those before, so that was a good exercise for us to add cost codes. It doesn't hurt anything, right? Because now you got a unique code for each catalog item, as you said. So here's the arrow boards, here's barricades, here's barrels, here's cones, and we have them delineated by how long they're going to be out in the field. If you want to rent it for a day, it's this amount, a week, a month, and a year.
Okay.
We also do stationary signs. There's the cost for that. And then comes our packages. So we got, which is a combination of everything above, right? So instead of what we were doing in these quotes over and over again, we kept, okay, we need this many barrels, we need this many signs, we need this. It's like, okay, all right, enough of that. Let's make it easy. If we're going to call it a Pink Lady Package A for a single lane closure, by now we know that for a single lane closure, that's going to take about 20 barrels, about 4 stationary signs, and 2 barricades. So since we already know that, then we can give you a monthly rate on that, and it's discounted because we want to push you towards this package. It makes it easy. It's easier on the bidding, and it's easier in ops when it comes to service and actually doing it. We know we need to throw 20 on the back of the truck, 4 signs, 2 barricades. So we can give you a discount for that efficiency. So a month rate on that is $3,302. And you can see, Lindsay, that basically what we do every time, we kind of take that unit of measure off. So let's start with the day. All right, so if you wanted to rent that for a day, it's $287. And then if you do the math, 287 times 5 is more than the week. So 287 times 5 is 1435. So I'm basically saving you a day or two if you go to week. I want you to take this stuff out longer. So I'm using my pricing to dictate behavior.
So you could translate that into like a percent savings. You could say, oh, for a
Yes,
week,
sir.
you get a 5% savings on the daily
Absolutely.
rate. Okay.
Yep.
So we could build.
That's right.
So I'm thinking, Abdullah, we could even build logic that can do that part.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
That's another gap. Thank you. Go ahead, Abdullah.
Yes, we can build the logics, and also we can make them customizable. So you can have like custom logics. You can set the percentages, and like
Yes,
there will be a calculator field as well, which will show you the result after the calculation, like after applying the percentage and other stuff. And then it will
bless you.
show you how much they will save and what will be the benefit.
Fantastic,
Or maybe
fantastic.
even at a customer level. And this is something again, Abdullah, as we brainstorm. Maybe,
Hmm.
for a customer who's, spent, $5,000 with you or $30,000 with you because they spent the year with you. Maybe there's they're going into year two, or maybe there are other products they aren't buying from you. So there's some incentive, where it becomes a customer or a customer spend, total spend kind of look, and says, all right, based on their total spend, I'm going to look at giving them additional incentives. If they spent, $20,000 with me, they're going to get a level of benefit. But if they spend 30,000 with me, now they get a whole nother level of benefit. So yeah, just brainstorming as we look at, building it. But I think the basic would be just building the base logic for going from day, week, month, or year.
Bless you, man. Hey, that discussion alone. There's another gap. I don't think Job Tread was understanding this. This is exactly what you just said is what I was asking them to get their tool to do. Frustratingly, they can't get it to do
All
that.
right.
So instead of that's when I call again. All right, instead of keep trying to round hole square peg, I got a brother that let me call my brother Lindsay. We may be onto
Yep.
something, you know. It follows two with the month, and it would follow the year, but just so you see how the math works, right? So 1125 times 4 is 4500, not 3302. So I'm giving you a week. I'm incentivizing the longer you take this out because I know the efficiencies, right? The longer that you have this stuff out, um, the less the first efficiency is the less time it's on my yard, and I'm paying rent for something that's not out. So, all right, so that's kind of the logic around that. So you kind of see that part. Um, what other logic? So when we come here so you talked about the discounting, right? So it would be great if that was AI or logic based, right? Because right now I'm kind of going in and force feeding a discount afterwards.
Yeah.
Um, Other logic, right? So here's a little program that I have um, where where is it up here? I think I got a yes no up here, right? So I say, is it new construction? Yes or no? Because if it's new construction, then um, no labor
Okay.
tax for Texas. So that's a program that's some programming that you would have to do.
Yep.
Um, okay, and then oh, I'm missing a big part. Here's another gap. Here's another huge gap. Um, so this is the part. I'm just call it labor rate. I don't know, labor logic. So we don't forget it. This is the part that during our discussion that we talked about, Lindsay. We go to a mechanic shop. You get in a transmission job. If it if that job if I got to pull down a cog and a spring and a this and a that, if I got to pull down these parts, it automatically affixes the labor hours to that. I'm doing all this manually today, so I'm already saying, okay, if I'm just kind of doing it manually, like if I kind of know, but I can again with a discussion with you or a discussion with Abdullah, we can talk about it to where it makes logic sense so that we can program this thing. But um, typically I know a double lane closure is going to be about um, 4 hours for administrative work, 2 hours for a job setter, 2 hours for a foreman, um, and it could be 6 for a flagger if they ask for one. They didn't ask for one here. That's a yes or no logic there. And then an amount for mobilization. That's the transportation travel to and from the site. There needs to be logic where if I pull this package, it automatically knows how many hours of labor to assign to each labor category. Because today it's just kind
Yes.
of coming from the mind of Los, so it needs to be it needs to be systematized. Go ahead, Abdul.
Yeah. I'm just saying that we can program this like once we have the logic to determine the amount and then
Yeah.
what should be the value. Once we
Yes,
had
sir.
that, we can build the logic, we can write that down. And also there is another thing that we can do. Sometimes the logics are not like it's straightforward. There are a lot of complex logics and a lot of other things that we have to keep in mind. So in that case, we can use AI. So like we can make a customized thing for you in which you can type your logic, which like in just simple English, you can type them and then the AI will review that thing and based on that, it will generate the result, right?
Okay. It's almost like an interview type of thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So that's where we are today um, with this type of bid. Um,
Okay.
there's the other work we do is pavement marking. But before I go to that, any questions on this type of bid? And you can have all Lindsay, y'all can have all of this, man. I mean, I'll forward you
Okay.
the Excel as it is,
Yeah.
so you see it all.
Yeah. So can you show us what it looks like when you do this in that job tread?
Yeah, I can, but I'm not as adept in it. We're in the middle of training on that one. I'll do my best. So they call theirs each estimate is called a job.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, and here, let's see one see what his Christian Brothers one is. Yeah.
You got a dashboard.
Yes,
What is
sir.
a dashboard? Or is this the dashboard? Or is that
Yep,
something
this is
different?
their dashboard. Yep.
Okay.
D'Amica's a sales lady on that one. It's the job type is paving marking. So they have done some things. Um, and then here's the dashboard. So then if we go to budget, um, should be some items in here. Extended price. So that's something else that we need to do that we haven't done yet. This is a good ask from Job Trade, a good learning. Um, right. We should have the cost and the price so that it could generate the margin. Haven't done that work yet, but
Okay.
that's a good ask.
Austin, right. So that's not in your Excel today.
No, sir. No, but it makes sense. It's something it's a good learning.
Add cost in the margin.
Yeah. Because then if I have, so we got the cost and the price, then it'll you can
Yeah.
automatically generate the margin.
Yeah.
So you know what the
Cost.
margin is by job. Uh,
Enter cost and price and calculate
oh, my bad.
margin in the
My bad.
so the
Yeah.
what happened?
I had gone off the screen. You were still asking about it. My bad.
Oh, no, you were fine. I wasn't looking at it. I was looking at it as where I'm typing. So then from a budget perspective, um, do you do where do you get your budgets assumptions from? From the customer? Is the budgets in that building connected site?
No, this is the bid. So what they're calling budget is our bid. That's
Okay.
their nomenclature. That's their naming convention. JobTread's naming convention is budget.
Yeah, it seems like some of the things are pretty smart, like the committed costs, right? So when you're saying,
Yeah.
hey, not to exceed,
Yep.
for us, if we go below here, then we don't even want this business.
Yeah.
Projected cost. Oh, actually, I'm not sure if I'm interpreting those. Do they have a
They got a bunch of
dictionary?
videos and stuff. Lindsay, I'll give you this too, man. I'll give you my username and password.
Okay,
You and Abdullah, y'all can cruise around in here, man.
okay,
We're all brothers. Just
yeah,
instead of me trying to explain it, you'll get to it faster than me.
okay.
This is your world. I didn't,
Oh, documents.
yeah. So to me, this is another gap for them because they limit the size, and I know why, right? Because you're just gonna have size limits on the cloud, I guess. But we got to put a lot of drawings in here, so it's gonna be big. It's gonna be heavy, So
So that'd be one of the requirements is need to have large blob storage.
yeah, because you
What do you
want to
think
be able to
about
put the
that, Abdullah?
drawings.
If we because today we don't have, well, I guess today we have lots of files, but I guess today those files, you well, I guess so. This is going, if you're doing like 1,000 quotes a year and you want to keep all of those quotes historically and they all got big files, I guess that's where it could become, kind of, well, I don't know if it will be an issue, but it's just something we have to understand because that'll determine how much storage you need to have allocated for the app, versus if you are, only keeping it for a year and you don't need, but I could imagine you need it for more than a year because you want to keep your history too. So you could always say, here's where I was, and here's some maybe changes, um, and that history would also be important from an AI perspective because AI is always only able to build based on what it's got. So if we start talking about leveraging cognitive services, you know what cognitive services means, Carlos? Did I ever use that term before with you?
Nope, you're over my head, man.
Yeah. So it's basic, cognition. Cognition is about what you can sense, right? You can see it, smell it, touch it, hear it, taste it. So cognitive services essentially is when in the AI world, it means, when AI, your computer can get insights from a video, from language, from
Okay.
music, from images. So as an example, by learning, patterns in or like when you see those self-driving cars. I mean, basically
Right.
all they're doing is saying, I know what line markings look like. So if this car is veering over these line markings, then I need to take some action. Well, in this case, it's, these line markings are here. That means I need to, measure the space within between those markings in order to say, how much space we need to quote as an example.
Got
So
it.
it's basically just using senses cognition to make or to pull out insights that can then be used by an app to do other stuff like saying, here's my estimate for this space. And so that's where those drawings come to play because you're not getting, you might at some point decide to use videos, but for the most part right now, we're talking about drawings, and
Right.
those drawings need to be things that AI can interpret. And you're
That
going to,
that's a
Mhm.
dream, Lindsay, because I got to tell you, the one thing that as I'm training the bidders, and I'm going to show them this video too, is but I can just see how they react. Whenever I pull the drawing up, it fries them. Like there's a fear involved with a print,
Yep.
that that we engineers, we don't necessarily have that fear because we've dealt in that world before. So to the extent that AI or cognitive services can kind of bridge that gap, that would be nirvana. I know.
Okay. I'm just taking that note down.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So some other tools here. You got the schedule. So you can actually assign tasks in the schedule here. You can take daily logs. So these are just some other features within Job Treads
So these are
tool.
all features that you feel are like bare minimum because like Abdullah, we don't do schedules today in any of our apps. Is this something you could see we could get a Django probably script that could do this for us?
Okay, so schedule for what? Like in our app, we do schedule for sending notifications, but we can like enhance that feature and then we can have other kind of schedules.
Yeah, so that's a good point, Abdullah. So Carlos, can you explain what schedules do?
Yeah, so you got the Gantt chart here, right? So basically what's important for me is um okay, pre-bid assigned to Lindsay. Uh, the pre-bid, some of the pre-bid items might be like, so even before we get to the bids, okay, have you vet the customer? Is the customer a bona fide customer? Do we know them? Have we met them? Just things like that. The the the
So it's
documents,
your
right?
project management process. You
Yes,
just
sir.
okay.
Absolutely. It's a
All right.
There's some PM work involved in all of these bids that it's good to have it as part of the bidding tool. So this is a good ad. That I applaud JobTread for having this. This is a good ad to have here. And whatever tool that we create, I would like it to have a rudiment. Like it doesn't have to be, I don't like Primavera. It doesn't have to be the best of the best, but at least some tasks and some names and what's going on in the tool is good.
So Abdullah, we might want to take a look and see if there's something we can do with, how we do our project management using Microsoft
Yes.
Project. If
Yes.
there's some API or connector or if there's some way to embed Microsoft Project into the app, or maybe Microsoft has some big, like we got Power BI embedded. Maybe there's also some
Mhm.
type of um, project that we can buy from Microsoft and use it like we do Power BI embedded, where it becomes a part of our app and you never even know it's a separate product.
Yep, we can. Or even we can see if there is any other, if there is no Microsoft project management API, then we can look for other project management APIs, because there are a lot of APIs available and they do a great job.
Yeah. Or even Python, Django stuff somebody's already built that we can embed into our app.
Yes.
All right. And since we're talking about like must-haves within the bidding tool, we need some CRM, some customer relation management type tools. Um, should be able to put the customers in here, right? Because you're gonna be using the customer information over and over again, right? So you might as well have a customer log built in. Um, and then vendors, right? So customers who's hiring us, and then vendors, who are we hiring, right? So it'd be good to have a vendor list in here too. Um, that comes in handy too when you do that scheduling, right? So then you could have ABC stripers to do the fire lanes or whatever. Excuse me. And you already have, and it's active, right? So it's already, you can kind of hyperlink into the vendors all along the way. So it's not just a dummy entry. It's actually like a card, right? But
You might want to take a screenshot of this screen so you can see the menu items. Let's see. All right, and then what was your main screen where
the
you
main one should be this jobs, right? Like,
jobs? Okay. So really, I guess one of my questions would be, does the what are they got the idea of the minimal viable product, the MVP.
hmm,
What is the minimum viable product? Because right now, I think you're saying this is a good product, but there's some things that it's missing. But then there's some things that this product has that are, really great, like customers and vendors and,
yeah.
information on jobs, but there's some things that it's missing. I guess what would you say is, and you don't have to answer right now, but you start to think about the minimal viable product. Is the minimal viable product this plus some stuff, or can we do less and still have a better product just to get out the gate?
Um, I think that's a good question for for my sales team, the ladies that's doing the bids, right? Like
Okay.
they've done more training than me with job tread too. So
Okay.
I think
Yeah,
that's a
I
good
mean, we'd be
question,
happy to talk with them too if that helps, because I guess I want to know, some of the things would be a little more complicated, and some of the things you can do, like some of the bidding stuff that you would do. So the stuff you were doing in Excel, we could
Yeah.
do off the bat, right? We can do that today. But then when we start adding in the CRM piece and the
Yeah.
VRM piece, vendor management, and the scheduling, even as the customer and vendor management stuff might be easier because a lot of that's coming out of building connected as well, right? I mean, it's saying who
Mm-hmm.
the customer is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And building connected. So customer
Yeah.
stuff we could even do. The vendor stuff, and that would be a separate database or a separate set of data, because now you're
Yeah.
talking about something that you're not getting off of building connected, right? But I think if we even,
But that's sub to sub.
yeah, that's sub to sub. Good point. Good
Yeah.
point. So that could be where we get it off of the sub list. Now,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a great point, Carlos. And the catalog, that's the thing you're doing in Excel today, right?
Yeah.
With your
The catalog is, yep. That's the pricing list that you talked about. Yep. That I showed you. Yeah.
and then the
Yeah.
files are those the attachments?
So files is anything. Yep. It's videos but again,
Okay.
it's limited to I don't know, it's 50 meg or something. It's limited. Like the
Is there a
size of the
way?
file is limited.
Is there a way to link the file to a particular job? And maybe that's a
Um,
question for the ladies who are working on this.
hmm,
Ask them, hey, can you link a file to a job? Because it
well, I
seems like
already
you
know the
should be
answer
able
to
to link.
that. I
Uh-huh.
already know that, right? Because if we go in
Oh,
here and we go documents, now I can, there's a way to do it, right? Because otherwise we wouldn't have this document
yeah.
thing. I just don't
So
know.
that
Oh,
is
here you go.
doable.
Add document. So it's doable.
Yeah.
So,
So I think that was
yeah,
one of the things we were thinking wasn't doable before. It looks like
yeah,
it is.
yeah. So it's doable. It's just size limited, right? Because if I'm adding a large drawing, which is one of the documents that's like, that's not you were talking about minimum viable, is it product?
Yeah. Minimal viable. Yeah. Minimal viable product.
Yeah, that's a minimum. To be able to upload my drawings is minimum.
Okay.
I need that. I need that, and they're not able to deliver that today
Because of the size. So
because of
they
the
can do it. They
size.
just can't do the size.
They got a size limit on it, right?
Okay.
The other thing, CRM wise, at a minimum, is some kind of way to talk about the sales pipeline, right? Pre-bid, bid, um, job complete, post job feedback. I'm not using the right terms and
No,
the
you are. So the
but you know what
phases
I'm talking about.
basically. Yep. So
Yeah,
going through the phases from back
th-
in your stage gate process when you were
there you go.
engineering, right? You got
That's right.
yeah,
So we
you
know.
did.
So like it, and ideally it would be on here, right? So I guess that's what they're trying to do, right? Pending orders, approved order, open invoice paid. I guess that's
Yep. That's their phase gate.
yeah, doesn't really mean anything to me, but and it probably can change it. I'm pretty sure you could change these headings, but that's something at a minimum that we should have too, is those we should know where it is in the sales funnel.
If you click on the little settings icon above, like right above where it's got yeah,
All right. Fields maybe.
yeah. So does it allow you? Looks like it allows you to add and remove them, but there may be preset fields.
Yeah. Yeah. Approved. Yeah. So it looks like you can, yeah, it's preset. And maybe you can even add more. I don't know. Again, I'm the overview dude. I'm not the detail guy with the stuff, man.
Yep, yep, I get it. I get it. So I guess so they do have fields. You may not be able to change the name of the fields that we know of, but you can at least choose which ones you want, and which ones you don't want. Um,
And
there's a sort.
yeah, sort and then filters. And for all I know, Lindsay, you might be able to add them. I just because I don't know how doesn't mean it can't be done.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the process, right? We're
Yeah,
evaluating it to see can we make it better because it may be that there's some things that you might learn they already got, in which
right.
case we don't need to build another app, or there may be some things where we say, yep, let's go ahead and build another app.
Or
And so
or maybe it's not a good idea. The other thing too, Lindsay, like if it's got enough on this tool,
yeah,
we can make a business decision that says, you know what, Lowe's, they got enough in that tool. Maybe we don't need another tool. But
yeah,
I don't I don't think that's right because 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 of these gaps and because I know typically where these where these where these estimates start, Lindsay, is from those who are in the building construct. When I say building, I mean actual edifice, a house or a commercial building. Where these things don't generate, where these types of tools don't make as good a solution, is in our field, which is road construction.
yeah,
This is a multi-trillion-dollar business, and then you got to understand what's going on in the world today politically. You got Biden passing this multi-trillion-dollar infrastructure bill, so you definitely have opportunity here in the road building construction phase, and
So you
just to
think
dream.
you think there's a big enough market just to focus on road construction?
How big how big do you want? Do you want at that point, Liz? It's like, do you want your great grandchildren to build to benefit from this? I mean, it's
Yeah.
that
So
huge,
I
Lindsay.
guess it's more like for road construction, and it'll be more like small to medium sized business road construction, or because I guess it's really what it comes down to is who's the client for these things, and what if you think of, and even from an ease, right? So you're a technical guy, right? You're an engineer by trade
Yeah,
and training, and so can the typical construction person? I mean, what kind of tool would the typical construction person be able to use, right? And so making it
there you
so,
go.
and it may be that part of the responsibility of selling it is the training, just like job trade, right? They're training you, but they're
Yep,
providing some level of training and development to set it up. And then, so I think those are some of the things we'd have to try to understand. We look at the business model, it's like,
right.
okay, if we build a product, that really is just focused on road construction and, a segment of road construction, because again, I don't know who the big boys are, the primes. Maybe it's not, this isn't what the primes are
Here's
going
one.
to use. They got their own stuff, right? But
Yeah,
this
they
is
got their
where,
own. They have their own stuff, but the subs don't, right?
right, right.
And
So the subs don't.
and the prime, and let's make no mistake about it. The primes are just a collection of subs.
Right, right.
The
Yep,
general contractor is they're cultivating subs.
yep,
So and the subs, typically a sub won't have, they're not going to have enough money to buy the type of software that a prime is going to buy, and that's where we come in.
yep.
As far as you can't see this thing because it washes out, right? But what I have in my hands here is a prime contractor called Granite, and this is their list of projects to come. Houston Metro LRT line, 1.2 billion. TxDOT Grand Parkway, that's a area in the city. Anyway, 950 million. Um, United States agriculture, Addicts and Barker Dams, 83 million. So like this is just their top three list. The opportunities out there are massive. And that's just one contractor. That's just their top three opportunities. So I think it's worth figuring out, but
Okay.
to kind of, okay, where do we start with this elephant, right? I think we
Mm,
first make a tool. Okay, pavement. We know pavement marking and we know traffic control.
yeah.
Let's first build a tool for that, and then naturally, what would come next to me um, is paving contractors. So concrete, asphalt.
We-
Yeah,
So scope would be road construction,
yes, sir. That's the mega
and then
scope.
and
Yeah,
then below that is
what we know.
uh,
Yeah. And we
what's
know
pavement
pavement
marking.
marking, traffic control, and pressure washing. This is kind of like the entry level to road construction.
Okay.
Next level up would be paving contractors. And some examples of that, Lindsay, would be concrete work was called dirt work. Um, Dirt work is when you have, any excavation that has to do with, you got to level, you have to level the dirt. You got to dig the dirt, level the dirt before you put concrete on it. Anyway, yep, yes, sir, excavation. Then another one would be uh, asphalt, the asphalt guy, asphalt contractors.
Or is that below? Oh, is that equivalent to pavement contractors, or is that below?
That's all. That's their kissing cousins. So they're in the same. Concrete
Okay.
and asphalt guys are cousins or brothers, if you will.
Okay. I'll put this A.
Yeah,
This would be B. They're kind of doing the same thing. It's just when they're pouring it, one's pouring
right.
asphalt, one's pouring. They still got to excavate, prep, stuff like
That's
that.
right. That's right.
And pavement marking. So in terms of road construction, pavement contractors, pavement
Yeah,
marking. And
yeah.
now
And
is this app for them, or is this app for folks who are doing the signage to support them?
so my way of thinking, the app first is so that bottom level, right? That's what I know. I know how to do a pavement marking bid. I know how to do a traffic control bid. I know how to do a pressure washing bid. So any questions that you or Abdullah would have around logic around that or how to do it, we can build that and we can make that great.
Okay.
The next level guys, concrete guys, and asphalt guys, we would have to partner with them and get them comfortable enough with us to share their numbers, right, and share how they do what they do.
Yeah, yeah,
And then
and you know,
yep,
if we build if the logic is still transferable, right? Because if it just
yep,
comes down to feet, labor,
yeah,
pounds, whatever,
yep,
you know,
yep, yep,
then it's how we
yep.
let them enter in what they need to enter the variables.
It
You just
is
have a
right.
place for multiple variables, right? And then you can
Yeah.
change the price and cost of the variables however you
Mhm.
want.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's how I see it, Lindsay. And this is the vision that God gave me this morning. Like we got to dream bigger. We got to
Yeah.
dream bigger, man. This is this is beyond both of all three of our imagination. This is huge, Lindsay.
Yeah, I believe you.
Um,
I believe you, especially in Houston. I mean, in Texas in general. I mean,
but
the construction
but
and
nationwide, we got bridges. We got bridges that are 100 years old, man. We got so above the paving contractors would be, I don't even know the name for I don't know, let's call them mega road contractors for lack, I don't know what we would call
these are
them, but
primes.
so the primes started um at that second level. So they're all those paving contractors,
Uh-huh.
they're they're primes and subs.
Okay.
And we tend to only be subs down here at the paving, marking, and traffic control and pressure washing. And those, yep, the mega roads, they're always primes. There you go. There you go. That's a good delineation. Now, when I'm talking about mega road, I'm talking about people that put down miles and miles of interstate. They're out there quoting billion. They got billions of dollars of road construction on their books for a year. Um, they're putting in I-75 up there in Detroit, right? They're those guys.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah,
So pavement marking, traffic control, pressure washing. I don't
that's
see
our entry
signage.
point.
You don't have
Hmm.
signage here?
Signage would go with traffic control.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, yeah,
Any
yeah.
questions, Abdullah?
Man, I'm excited, man.
No, sir.
All right. So if you could send over that, uh, the, yeah, if you can give us maybe access to the job
Give me
tree,
two
there's
more.
nothing in,
Yeah, I'm gonna send you the Excel sheet. Lindsay,
okay.
give me 3 more minutes. I just want to show you that the pavement
Yeah.
marking one
Okay.
because it's quite different from the. I showed you the easiest one first.
Okay.
The the one that we the one that we're most challenged on doing bids is the pavement marking, or what's also called paint striping. Let me pull that one up. Share my screen. Thank you for your patience and thank you
Yeah.
for allowing extra time. Here we go. And I understand if I don't know if Abdullah is getting kind of late over there. I don't know if he's got to leave, but
No, sir. I'm okay. I'm okay on time.
I'm not sharing the right screen. Shoot. All right. Stop sharing. Share screen over there. Okay. Like y'all, I got like 3 screens up, right? Oh man, this is so cool. So title block the same, nothing different there. This is, but this is pavement marking. The naming convention is called pavement marking, and it's also called paint striping.
Yeah.
Same thing. I just went for the more flowery name here. Pavement marking and brand awareness. No one else would ever call it brand awareness, but anyway, I'm being a little marketing-ish there. Anyway, now you come here, and I'm going to start with the materials first. I just do one line, and I think I can explain it with one line. Everything else is just an addition to that. 4-inch lines, white or yellow car lines. These are the verticals that are in between a car parking space. So if you think about a parking lot, these are those vertical lines that separate the parking spaces. They are 4 inches in width, and they tend to be 20 linear feet long. And so then all we have to do is look at the print and count how many lines are needed in the parking lot, right? And
Typically,
then
do they tell you how wide?
they will, yeah.
Okay. Do
And
they
it's
tell
never
you like,
not 4 inches.
okay. Do
Yeah.
they tell you how thick?
How thick the paint has to go on, in other words.
Yeah.
Um, they do in they do in thermal jobs. This is a water-based paint job. Thermal, back to your 3M days, Lindsay. Thermal is actually a resin-based paint for light. It's not paint at all. Is you actually have to melt plastic resin and then you're painting with that plastic.
Okay.
That's thermal paint. I'm doing
Okay.
the
Seems
quotation
like
marks
that.
because it's not paint at all. So there they would spec a thickness typically, but for water-based line striping, not so much.
Okay. And
Yeah,
that's, I'm
great
assuming,
great
so when
questions.
they put down, because I guess I'm just trying to think, you can put down a thin, you can try to cut costs and put down a thin layer of paint, or you can put down a thick layer of paint and it's going to last longer, but it's going to cost you more. So that's why I didn't know if they have a
It's the
way
right
of
question.
measuring.
I mean, it's a good question. It's the machine that probably 90% of the the paint striping community is using is a Graco 2400. So it's gonna put down what it's gonna put down. I mean, it's not,
Okay.
you know,
All right, it's not a variable. It's just it
uh,
comes with it's that decision is made by the machine.
pretty much. I mean, all right. So, but good questions. You know, just means you're a technical dude like me. All right. So I love that kind of stuff. All right. So from the print, you would pick up, what I teach our team, our bidders is, okay, you need to be able to count how many stripes there are, right? So this particular job, this is a Christian Brothers Automotive anyway, but they have 64 stripes times the 20 length times the pavement marking price that we get from our catalog, 65 cents per linear foot, gets to $832. That I know you can build that logic.
Right. Yeah.
I said one line item. Let me do one more. I'm gonna do one more different line item so you kind of get an idea of all the things we're costing on this thing. So all that's kind of paint materials, the amount of paint we would have to use, and we get a price for that. That's painting materials. We also have um this other material, right? So here's we may have an accessibility sign, right? So you may have that sign, Lindsay, that has the handicap logo, but we call it ADA to be politically correct.
Yeah.
And it'll say no parking, toll, violators will be told, something like that. And it's on that
Yeah.
blue sign.
Yeah.
We install that sign and the post and the mounting hardware to do that.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes,
So
sir.
you'll put it on the ground, you'll paint it on the ground and do the sign.
We'll paint so there's no painting for that. Oh yeah, we'll paint it on the ground too. That's the stencil. That was above. I didn't go over that one, but you're right. We do that too. This is just a sign. I'm just trying to show you that we also do hardware as well. And
That's part of traffic control.
nope, this is still pavement marking.
So pavement marking is so
Yeah.
that sign is part the sign. So once you start talking about things that I guess I'm trying to make just see the difference because the traffic control is going to be signage.
Yeah,
All painting is pavement marking, not traffic control.
right. The thought I want you to have in your mind, and I'll save some time. I could show you, but just get this picture in your head. When you're on, when you're out in a on a street, boulevard, highway, the signs are going to be either orange or green, right?
Right.
That's your traffic. That's traffic control.
Okay.
When you're in a parking lot, your signs are going to be typically either blue or maybe brown, but typically it's going to be blue. So that's that type. This is like informational signs. We're going to draw a distinction here from the traffic control signs.
Okay. All right. So when
Yeah.
you see a ADA sign saying "Don't park here unless you're handicapped,"
I want you
that's
to think
pavement
pavement
mark.
marking. Right. I
Okay.
want you to think pavement mark. I don't want you to think, in that instance, I don't want you to think traffic control. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And then I want to show two more things. So we have, might be three more things, y'all. Hang in there with me.
Yeah. No,
Just
we're
so you
good.
know. All right, good. I just want to be respectful of your time. Just like on the other one, we have a catalog, you called it, Lindsay. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your price list, like you called it. Yep.
yeah.
Same.
But this one, now this one gets a lot more detailed because you have you we do pavement marking for not only parking lots, but we also do pavement marking on roads. So um so we're counting, here's a here's if we're just counting parking spaces, it would be that. Um but it also we gotta say, okay, what if it was roadway? So we're talking linear feet. So we kind of had to make, so the same 4 inch line that we would do for a parking lot space, we would do that
Huh?
same 4 inch line out on a roadway if we were doing what we call skips, like we were doing dotted lines or skips.
Yep. Okay.
So we got a price for that. And since we're talking logic that needs to be built in, we have two types of paint. So we have type what's called type 1, which is that thermal paint that we talked about, Lindsay. That's your
Okay.
3M, that's your 3M stuff. So it's actually pebbles that gets heated up in a pot
Melt.
and
Yep.
melted, and you're literally painting with this plastic. That's thermal, and it's certainly different pricing from water-based paint, which is type 2.
Yeah.
So you see 66 cents a linear foot here versus $1.22. It has to be different because that's
Yep.
much
Twice the
more
cost.
expensive, much, yeah, different costs. And when we do that, we have all different types of widths of striping there,
Okay.
and on and on and on. So all that logic, and then here's the signage price list. You got a 12 by 18 ADA sign set in place. This cost. If it's a pole that we put into the turf, it's that price. But if it's a pole that we got to mount it inside of concrete, it's going to have to be a different price because now you're mounting that on concrete with a flange. So we
So
got
do
all
you
those
have
different. Mhm.
a list of all like the scenario questions? Because those were just scenarios that help you do the pricing.
Hmm.
Is that somewhere?
Um, it would be helpful, Lindsay, and it would certainly help our bidders out to have that. I'm training them to glean all this from the print today. It's not easy because the prints they're not as forthcoming as they should be.
Can you show a print? I know you showed me a print in the past, because I
Mhm.
guess Abdullah, as we think about AI, if it can answer some of these questions by looking at a print.
Be happy to, man. You know, I love this kind of stuff. All right. Let's do a bid. We just did 7-Eleven. And here's our pavement marking set. And this might need to be another meeting too, guys, because I'm giving you a lot of information in one meeting. I know. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, this is good stuff.
All right.
And
Header
our
sheet.
drawings typically the same? I mean, the same kind of general, following the same general path? Or are they
Oh
all
man.
very extremely different?
You know, 60-40 rule, that there's over time you can glean some things that are similar, but I, I think over time we're going to have to work together to kind of program this thing out.
Okay.
They're not, and said differently, Lindsay. They're not as standard as they should be.
Okay.
Um, so let's take a walk. So that's just the header page. So this has already been thrifted down for just what we would need for pavement marking. I've already taken out all the other prints.
Okay.
Um, here's a kind of division of the work matrix. So this kind of shows all the different subs that are involved. Here's your general notes and abbreviations. Okay, go through all that. And then we come to the actual pavement marking print itself. And oh, by the way, never have I seen a print that says pavement marking. It always says site plan or something like that. I'm going architectural site plan. So
So
there's another, you know.
so I guess as you start to look at maybe icons or different elements on these drawings that a machine could use to do what a human is doing today, is we'd have to think about that over time. Is say, how can a machine look at this? And Abdullah, have you seen that happen?
Okay, so we can have this with Azure Cognitive Search or any other AI tool, uh, which can read or scan these documents, right? But there should be a documentation on how to read and what to understand from this document, right? What a particular sign means, and like what is the purpose of any particular sign or drawing. So if there is a document which has these documentation, and along with that we have uh, this painting or print, and then we can like send it to AI, and then it will read based on the documentation. It will generate the response. Then it will be more accurate. If we just give this painting to the AI, and then if it only understand on its own, then the response will not be accurate. So it will be beneficial if we provide a documentation which has like the details of what are these sign means, how to
Got it.
understand these paintings.
So Abdullah, would it be helpful just now that we're on the print, if I kind of give you some rules of thumb that lets me my own human cognition, what lets me know that okay, this is a paint striping print. Maybe if I kind of give you some of those clues now, you can think about the AI or the programming. What would that look like? Would that be helpful?
Yep.
So one of the things that I look for um, is this ADA logo. You see this handicap
Yes.
marker here?
Yep.
That's kind of a clue that lets me, okay, this may be a pavement marking print.
Okay.
Um, another clue is another big clue. I'm going to take you up into the notes. So I know the computer will be able to read this. Where is it? Here, the word parking somewhere, right? So parking refer to civil sheets. Um, and in that, this refer to civil sheets. I'm not so much worried about that as the word parking somewhere in the notes section.
Okay.
Accessibility, the word accessible or accessibility somewhere in the notes sections.
Okay. So it would be not just the drawing, it would also be keynotes and other things you'd have to take out of that document.
Yeah, just trying to think, Lindsay, just the human things that I'm doing, like how could a robot do it? What am I doing that would be programmable?
Yep. And that's
Um,
what we want to know.
yeah. Um, and then something else is bollards. Um, these large metal cylindrical safety devices that keep a car from running into the building. We
Yep.
we
I've
we
seen
install
those.
these. Yep.
Okay.
So that's another keyword, kind of keyword searchy thing for you. All right.
Okay.
Hopefully that's helpful.
Nope, it
Um,
is.
in the drawing, so that's kind of words that would help you to know that you're landing on a pavement marking or a paint striping page. Features on the drawing itself that let me know that I'm looking at a pavement marking drawing. Excuse me, guys, as I orient the print. I'm trying to get it to where you can see it, and I'm kind of lost in the print. Where are we? Yeah, blow it out and then come back. All right, can you see that? Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Um, you see these diagonals here, Abdullah and
Yep.
Lindsay?
Yep.
Yes.
That's gonna always be either a walkway or a handicap walk. It's a walkway, either a handicap walkway or a general walkway. It's telling a driver where they cannot park. So tip on somewhere on these drawings is going to be a walkway, and the walkway is going to be diagonal lines like this. So that's a feature that perhaps could be looked for logically.
It won't. Is that also a sidewalk? Or is that different? Is a sidewalk different?
Sidewalk different. Um, I, I'm gonna say is I'm gonna say it's different because a sidewalk is usually a concrete, like it's usually a raised concrete feature, right?
Yeah,
And these are
exactly.
not
Usually. Yeah.
the yeah, these are not raised concrete features. These are at the
Okay.
same level with the roadway and with the parking spaces. So a car could be on here.
Okay.
That's why they're using the paint as a way to tell cars don't park here.
Don't park here. Okay.
Um, other features, other drawing features. I'll just give you two more. Another drawing feature would be arrows, directional arrows. I had to come in and put them on here because they didn't have any. So back to your question, Lindsay, of are all the drawings the same? No, like I'm recommending to the customer to add these. There's no way that they should have this parking lot without any arrows on it. This is a feature that was missed by the
Okay.
engineer or the architect. Um,
This would be
that
one of those documents that you could grab out of Building Connected. You would want to attach it in yours, and to the
right.
extent you could get insights off of it with AI, we would,
Oh my
or
God.
get insights by asking certain questions.
Yep.
But we'd have to figure out how do you create a almost like a script of
Yep.
questions to ask. So or actually it would be questions that they would ask that the app would ask you, like, is this for a parking lot? Is this
Yep.
for a restaurant
A
parking lot?
roadway.
Is
That's right.
a roadway?
Yep.
How many spaces are there? Because
Yep.
for you, you don't really even care where the spaces are. You just really want to know how many lines, right?
Right,
And
because I'm trying to get to a linear foot. Yeah, I'm just trying to get
yeah,
to, yeah. Um, the other feature that I want to talk about, Lindsay, is where AI and where logic has got to help us. I need your help.
okay.
Um, this is a simple one. It's just rectangles, right? But um, you see these, you see these. We call these hash marks, these diagonals,
Yeah.
and they're all over the place, right? Um,
Uh-huh.
so each one of these lines is paint. So what we did was we developed uh, geometries, right? So this is a simple rectangle, right? So all we would need to know is the length here and the width. We come up with the area, so it's going to be in square feet, so that we can take a third of that. The reason being, we're not painting the whole thing white. We're only painting these diagonals, and we have formulated that these lines represent one third of this area.
Okay. That
So
makes
one
sense.
so one third of the area of any walkway is going to get us our, how much material we need to put down.
Okay.
Now,
That
if you
makes
buy
sense.
that, thank you. I'm glad that makes sense, because if you buy that, then that gets us to this, and you're going to get all of this, right? So we had to develop all of these different geometries, right? Because these are the different geometries that we might see on a walkway,
Okay.
so that all the bidder has to know is some simple, some rudimentary. They don't even have to know geometry. All I want them to do is put in the length and the width, and
Yep.
it'll spit out the amount, right?
Yep. So
So if
they can
the
put in triangle, left, width. Uh,
right, so in your interview, okay, do you have a triangular walkway? Yes. Then okay, just give me one length. That's 35, and then it'll give them another. If it's, and maybe we come up with some other term. Isosceles would scare the heck out of people, right? Isosceles triangle. But anyway, but that's what it is. One that we use a lot is the sector. Um, and all you need to know is the radius. You just need to know what the radius is, and the print gives that to you, and you need to infer what this data value is. But anyway, not I don't want to get into all that. This clearly is something that every salesperson is not going to be jumping up and down to be able to do to do some geometries, but we need to do it because um, we need to figure this out anyway, Lindsay. Because we figured it out for painting, we certainly would have it figured out for concrete work and for asphalt work, because they got to deal with geometry too.
yep. Yep. Good point. Good
And
point.
and everything's not a square and a rectangle.
Right.
But that's
You
what
got
we
the
make. They're making everything a square and a rectangle out there.
yeah.
So we can
And it's
stop
trying
here
to
if you
yeah.
want. I mean, man, I could talk about this stuff forever, man. But we're
Yeah.
already 90 minutes in, Lindsay.
What were there other questions you had, Abdullah?
No, sir, I don't have
Hey,
other
Jay,
questions.
come. All right. The other thing that we would talk about next time, and hopefully we have a next time, Lindsay, we got to do more,
We
man. This
will.
this
We
has been
will.
fantastic. Um, the the what I have to have you figure out for me, man. What I need your help with, Lindsay and Abdullah, is how do we get our labor attached to whatever material and whatever signage, whatever we're installing, whether we're painting lines, whether we're installing a sign, how do we assign a labor rate to that? And I have my labor, I kind of did my tables here, Lindsay. So if you got 40 if you got 40 car spots, then that's 4 hours. And so I kind of have it, but it's not logical, man. It's just a table.
So there's no correlation between like linear foot and labor.
Right, right. And there's no correlation between how many I didn't even talk about fire lanes, but how long are the fire lanes? Here's your the walkways, 88 parking spot, how many bollards that we're gonna do. I made a table up here, and then what I do, Lindsay, is I just wing it, brother. I just say, okay, you know, like, let's see if I did it on here. This would be a good example. So, ain't even on here. What I usually do is say, okay, this is 64. Then I go to that car spots, and okay, it's between 60 and 80. So, okay, that's about 6 hours.
Okay.
You see what I mean? And then if it's got two signs, okay, that's another half hour. So, but logic based on once we have once we have all this, then we should know how much labor we need to do it, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you're consistent, right?
And that's why I like that AI answer you were talking about, Lindsay, because for what I know about AI, it gets better. It gets better over
Right.
time, right?
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
Um,
So I think what we would need is get a copy of this Excel
all
file,
right. Yeah.
job trade login. If you can give us the um what do you and I'm writing this down too. The what do you call it? The
Building connected.
yeah, building connected. Do you log into that?
Yep. I'll give you that
But
too.
we can sign up for that free anyway, right?
Yep. You can.
Okay. Yeah, just sign up for that. So
But you won't see, let me encourage you to
oh,
just take my password because you won't see
okay.
based on my NACE code, right?
Gotcha. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I mean,
Yeah.
unless I use your next code to sign up, but
Yeah.
I'm putting I'm putting the notes we talked about in the chat anyway, just some of the
Yeah.
things we might need to use them somewhere else.
Yeah.
But we copied Excel file, job trade, login, and building connected. And I took a screenshot. Abdullah, did you take a screenshot of the building of the job trade site?
I can get back to it if you want.
Yes.
Okay, you
Okay, so
did. Okay,
Abdullah's
good.
got that. I think we're good there. And I think remembering the jobs section is the one that was kind of like the main page with all the other things. Where was the scheduling
It's
and the tasks?
I thought they had a schedule. Is it inside? It's inside the job.
Okay, actually, Abdullah, let's take a screenshot of this too. The inside the job view.
Okay. I took.
All right, I
And
took my
were there any other screenshots that we might need to have? So I remember there was there was a one that had like, oh, actually this was the one with the map. So I already see that. Never mind.
yeah. They put the map in there. Here's your schedule that you're asking about.
Okay, yeah, let's get a screenshot of that also, Abdullah, please. And once we get on it, we'll start to see other screenshots. And what is the customer screenshot? What is the vendor
Yep.
screenshot?
Done.
All right, thank you,
Um,
Thank you,
sir.
I'm
guys.
putting the screenshots in the chat. So
Okay.
Okay, fantastic. Lindsay, I want to talk to you about something else strategic after Abdullah
Okay.
leaves, if you
All
got
right.
time for it.
I do.
All right.
Thanks, Abdullah. You can sign off now, please.
okay. Okay. One few last thing I just want to like say here. So
Uh-huh.
what we want to do now is that if we want to build everything that like we saw here, so we should start with a base, right? And we can move step by step. So it will be very helpful if you if you can think of some steps that we should go like stepwise. What will
Okay.
be the
Hmm.
first phase, what will be the second, and then how we should move. And I
Okay.
just
So
want that
develop.
each each phase should be like independent from the other phase, right? So let's say we are building, so let's say the example of painting. So generating something from the painting using AI, and like generating some response or some analysis
Mm,
for the painting is independent, right? It's just
mm,
specifically related to the paintings and some document that we will provide, right?
yeah,
So I just want like if you can note down those things because you know better than both of us because you have a good experience in it, so you can like you can make it better, you can write down
yeah.
and then
I guess
then you can
I
send
don't
it to me.
understand. Do you understand, Carlos, what he's asking?
Kind of
I'm
like a
not.
standard operating procedure of how I do bids, step by steps, is what I heard.
Yep. Not like it's not like you have to write in too much detail, but some key points that you do today,
Yeah.
and it will be helpful in the development.
We can. I mean, if you got something, you can do it, but
I
otherwise,
do.
we can
I
just
already have
walk
it.
through it in a meeting.
I
If you
already
got
have a
something,
vid. Yep. I already have videos
okay.
where I'm actually walking through a bid, Abdullah,
Okay.
I, and I can just I can send you the links to all the because I had to create it for the team anyway. So if if you think that's helpful, I could just send you the links to all the to me doing a bid, and I'm kind of as I'm doing the bid, I'm going through my psyche of why I'm doing this, why I'm doing this next, why I'm doing this next. I don't know. Is that
Yeah.
will that answer your question? Or,
Yes. Yep. It will be helpful.
and I already have that, Lynn.
Okay.
That's not a problem. It's already done.
Perfect. That'll work. That'll work. So that will be
Okay.
just the last item. So in addition to copy of Excel file, job, tread, login, building connected, and then the statement, standard operating procedure.
Yeah, yeah. All right,
Ready? Sounds good.
all
All
right,
right. So Abdullah, you can hop off now and we'll be talking to you probably tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you so much, both of you.
all
Yeah,
right. Good
thank
night.
you.
Peace to you,
Have a nice
Abdullah.
day ahead. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye.
Right.
Man, Lindsay, that's fantastic, brother. Man, I feel so good about that. That's beautiful, man.
Yeah. Well, it's not beautiful until it's made.
It's nah, man. Hey, bro. All right, this is what you're, Lindsay. I don't have many people that I can dream with,
Oh, okay. Well, good.
and
Good.
so to even and what I keep hearing you say, oh, that can be done, that can be done, that can be, man,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
dude, that's monumental for me.
Okay. All
So
right.
let me, in the spirit of giving, man. So let me show you what I did for you. Hopefully, it's helpful for you.
All
I
right.
kind of thought about what you were saying about the brother that you know in Washington,
Mhm.
and kind of the links to uh, data analytics or software, the things that you do well.
Yeah.
So I took a look at the so Building Connected was the job board that I showed you.
Yeah.
There's also other job boards, particularly, so that's Building Connected, and we'll continue. We'll, of course, um, we can mine Building Connected, but it's not. I'm not going to see software analytical kind of bids because this is tied to my NACE code.
Right.
But when I come out here to Metro, so this is our public transit line, man. Another multi-billion-dollar bidding pool. I
Uh-huh.
just want you to like the massiveness of this is like I just want you to just understand, man. This is not,
Oh,
one
you know
thing,
what?
huh?
B2G now, they use that in the state of Washington because we're trying to figure out why they're using
Right.
B2G now in the state of Washington. I don't even know what it is,
Yeah.
but a lot of
This is
folks are
their
using them.
yeah, this is what we do to certify as vendors. You kind of go here and you get access and you
Oh,
certify.
okay.
So I'm Metro certified.
Okay.
So you see, apply for certificate, access vendor accounts, and search for a database of certified vendors. So each one of these, that Washington municipality, whatever you're dealing with, they probably have a certification protocol, and they're
They
using
do. They do.
B2G
But
now.
nobody likes it. Nobody likes it because it's
Neither do
hard to
I.
use.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but it was a necessary evil. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But what I
I
want
mean,
to show
even at
you
the
is
government level, this is the state government of the Washington, and the people who are inside of the state don't
right,
like the output.
man. These guys, they do a good job. These software, they do a good job of getting themselves infiltrated in there.
Yeah.
So, but that's where that's where you come to kick them out and say, hey, look, there's a better way.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so here's what I was thinking for you was this digital mailroom for claims. You
Okay.
know,
Yeah. What is
um,
that? So what I would say is, are you allowed or able to? Because I mean, this ultimately, like I say, I can't sell to this Houston, right?
right?
You can. So I mean, if you
Yes,
sell it, then again, you put your markup on it, and put your brand on it. You can white label it as Knovl, or
I
you can
know,
create a whole nother business enterprise if you want. Because
I
that's
know.
basically I'm going in the state of Washington as Ovation, because I can
Yeah,
never get in as Lindsay.
right. And I'm just showing you. I mean, it's
Yeah. Let's see, what is
this
this
is
one? Let's
you,
take a
man.
look. Posting date. Well, let's see a description. So data processing is my thing. So that's
Right.
computer program. Yeah, this is it.
I
This is
know.
it.
That's what
Let's
I'm
see.
saying. I'm glad you. So
Yeah,
you're excited. That's what
yeah,
I thought. I thought you'd be excited.
yeah, yeah.
So
These is
so it's just a matter of turning my lights on
yeah,
when I see this. Oh no, that's no, it's not.
yeah,
It's not paving marking, but that's Lindsay. So
yeah,
as I'm training the bidders, it's something else for them to say, hey, look, and oh, by the way, if you see this, we don't
yeah.
know how to bid it. Don't worry about bidding this.
Right.
We just want to
Yeah, Lindsay
identify
can
this for
bid it.
Lindsay. Just let them know it's out there, and then I just send this to you, right? So,
Yep,
um,
that's it. And
yeah,
once I got the quote, I can start looking at it and figuring out how to how to respond. Because I'm sure everybody's different. I think in the state of Washington, they still do, I think, some paper bids. But I
yeah,
think in Texas, you guys all your bids are digital, right? I mean, it's all
they're
on a form
digital.
online.
Yep, they're online. But what I want to say about Metro, man, so
Uh,
Metro's small business is headed up by a brother.
okay.
A
Is
sister
that good or
reports to
bad?
him.
What?
They love us, man. They love Knovl.
Okay. All right.
So they're
Whoa.
ambassadors. And, I told a lady, Sharonda, I was like, look, I haven't done a dime with them.
Wow. They love you, but they ain't paid you nothing.
No, I don't. No, don't hear that. Here, I haven't taken advantage of the opportunity.
Okay. Okay. All right.
I just,
Well, and that's kind of
yeah,
what this situation was in the state of Washington. They
right.
love him. They gave him an award for being Supplier of the Year. And he went back and he said, okay, I'm glad you guys gave me the Supplier of the Year award, but, you know, I don't want an award if I'm not winning any business. So they said, show us
Right,
what you do. Show us what you can do. We
right.
showed them what we could do like last September. And right now we've got all over $100,000 of business with them, but also we're about to quote a $400,000 opportunity, similar to something like what you
Yep.
probably have here. And so again, and they're giving him, he's winning business, you know, and it's like relationships. He's got great relationships. He just didn't have
Yeah.
the skills and capabilities to do this stuff. And now
I,
working together, he does.
right. Quite frankly, up until now, that's why I'm bringing on the team of bidders. I didn't have the
Uh,
bandwidth to do Metro bids, man.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
folks would send me Metro bids, and there would be, I mean, now Metro bids, they have the prints that you want. They have all the information. I mean, it's well done. But now, what do I do with all this information? Man, like it took me. I remember doing a Metro bid. We didn't end up winning it, but man, that thing took me weeks to finish that bid. It was like 40. It was 40 streets, 40 prints worth of streets.
wow. Yikes. And if you can get some
Yeah,
AI to help you with that,
there you go. There you go. So I just wanted to show you that's just Metro, brother. And that's not even that's just digital mailroom. I don't know. This SAP stuff could be some stuff, you know?
that one is out of my band with the SAP
Okay.
stuff because that's really well. I'll take a look at it though because it may be pulling stuff out of it. I have to take a look at it. But SAP usually that's now you're talking about their ERP system, and I don't know what they want you to do with their ERP system. That's
Hey
usually
man.
people who specialize in SAP, but
Yeah.
it's the right area.
Right.
Safety support consulting services. I don't know what that means. Purchase contractors. This fits in a variety of different things, but
So so is that. And then what they use is bonfire.
I heard of that, I think.
So the building connected is for um typically for private, but even some municipalities go on building connected. But bonfire typically is all municipality
Okay.
bids.
Okay.
So that's Metro. Then I wanted to show you here's Brazoria County. Here's a database administrator. I don't know whatever that I don't know what that means, but
Yeah, that's actually I don't know what that means right now in this context because that's usually a person. I don't know if
is
they're
it a
trying to
job or is it a
outsource. Yeah, they
disposable
might be
professional
looking to
services?
do some contingent labor or
Oh,
something for that.
yeah, that's okay. So that not
Oh yeah, that's
necessarily
why
us.
it's so when you see professional services,
Yeah,
that could mean they want a contingent labor person, or it could mean
there
they
you
want
go.
you to do that for them.
Yeah,
Seeking proposals for professional services of a SQL Server database administrator. Okay, yeah, so they want you to provide somebody, so contingent labor companies will do a lot of that
yeah.
part.
So that's
Yeah, I
not
don't do
necessarily
that
us.
yet.
All right. Here's Fort Bend. So these are so with bonfire, it's not like I can go to one bonfire board. Um,
Right.
every every municipality wants their own bonfire. Uh, you used the term before. We call it what is this thing called?
Portal or site or
Menu, whatever. Yeah, site
okay.
menu.
Yeah.
You said the term earlier, but anyway. So the landing page, for lack
Okay.
of another. So
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's like you
yeah,
coming to their site. Yep.
right. Even though it's all bonfire, so this is Fort Bend ISD bonfire. And when you're at these meetings, when you're networking, and oh, hey, we use bonfire for our building, like I'm already on bonfire. No, you got to go to Fort Bend ISD bonfire. Like, okay. So that's why
Yep.
I have all these multiple. But I'm just opening them to show you. I don't necessarily see anything data
Construction
analytics there, but
management. What is construction management services?
let's see.
Let's see. I don't know if they're looking for a tool or somebody to actually do the services. Sounds like they
Yeah,
may be looking for somebody to actually do the. Well, actually, if we look at the commodity codes,
yeah,
none of that's IT stuff, so that lets me know it's not. So that's where when
yeah.
you hit those data processing and software and custom software, when that
Right,
other one you were showing, that's it. That's like those are if it's those things, that's it.
right,
That's
right.
it.
Okay,
That was
that's
like
you.
square in it.
Right. I just wanted you to see the different. And here's our. This is our school district. This is Katy Independent. So they don't have anything for either one of us there. But school bus routing software solution.
Let's take a look. Yeah, I can take a look at that one too. So if you send that
Yeah,
one over. Now,
yeah,
so one of the things that I learned in working with the state of Washington is a lot of stuff isn't posted, even in the state of Michigan. So most of this Power BI stuff that I do, it's not posted. So finding
yeah.
people, so the guy in the state of Washington was just able to talk to him and say, hey, you need help with analytics, we can help you. And
Right.
we quoted, we wanted 2 or 3 for 40 grand. we split them in half, so I
Yeah.
got 20, he got 20, and it's just something we tried to keep simple. But,
Yeah.
it's just the idea that that wasn't something they asked for. That was something he showed them, and they said, "Oh, we need help with doing. I mean, we're doing all that like you right now. You're doing all your stuff in Excel. Where a lot of these state governments, they're doing all this stuff in Excel. They got folks spending,
Right.
3, 4 weeks every month doing this stuff in Excel that we could automate with Power BI. But they
Right.
don't know it. And when you tell them about it, then they're like, light bulb, let's work together. Let's
Right.
let's and a lot of them have, in the case of the state of Washington, they can spend up to $40,000 with a business person, with a supplier,
Mm-hmm.
and not have to put
Without.
it up for bid.
Yeah.
I don't know what that number is in the state of Washington. I mean, in the state of Texas.
For Metro, it's 50.
Yeah, so I mean, it could be you can land 4 or 5 projects,
Yep.
that 50, and we split it 25 each,
Yep.
and this is just an extra incremental rep, and it would be projects that would never mention because nobody knew they needed it.
And that's what's so exciting about it to me, Lindsay. When you were telling me about that relationship that you had with the brother in Washington, it's like, oh
Yeah.
hell, well, we can do that here.
Yes,
Um,
we can. And
you know,
Texas is growing faster than
right,
Seattle. It's
right,
faster than Washington, right? The state of Washington,
yeah. And then
and
here's
it's uh-huh.
so this is SIP. So that was Bonfire. I'm just showing you all the different
Yeah,
bid boards. That was
yeah.
Bonfire. Now here is Civcast. So Civcast tries to aggregate all of those uh, municipality projects.
So Metro and
Yeah.
okay,
So they should, you never know how good they are, but that's what they're trying to do. And so
okay.
I can come on here and I can do county or ID. Let's see if they have Metro on here. Yeah, it looks like they don't have Metro, but they do have Harris County. I saw that. So they got a lot of Harris County stuff, right? So here's another bid board. So
So how would you approach a Harris County opportunity for data analytics if it's not quoted, right? If it's not even up for bid because they don't even know they need it.
well, that's where NAMAC National Association of Minority Contractors. That's where they come in because okay, Harris County is separated into 4 precincts. And those precinct leaders, they come and they kiss the baby and stuff at our NAMAC meetings, right? And they
Okay.
promise the world. And that's where that's where I would raise my hand and say, hey, look, we offer this, and this, and we also offer data analytics. Can we set a meeting? So
And that's all this guy did in the state of Washington. He said, you guys say you gave me this award. I want some business. They said, okay, show us what you can do.
yeah,
We had an hour presentation and the rest is history. I mean, I think I told you I flew to Washington like 3 times this year.
it
And
was
one of
worth
those
it.
times was we presented like the
Yeah.
results of because we did this supply diversity report for them
Mm-hmm.
and we presented it to the Department of Corrections. So we had them in a room full of prison wardens, basically. We're presenting
Right.
and administrators for the prison system. Uh, and we basically presented the results. But that was, again, something that just came out of show me what you can do. Oh, we don't have any quotes for this because we didn't even know we needed it, right?
But
Now we
if
know
I
we need
had
it.
to, right, and if I had to kind of rate, like, I would go after Metro first.
Okay. All right. I mean, think about it like
You
this
know.
too. The other piece of recurring revenue, like with Blue Cross Blue Shield, like almost every other week, I'm providing them training. So imagine every time we provide training, because again, this would all have to go under novel because I can't do business. I could try to set up in the state of
Mm-hmm.
Washington. It would just be
Right.
stupid, right?
Right.
I've gotten on the registry for Austin, Texas, and those places.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gonna do that no more. I mean, I might go to some of the conferences for Houston, but if I go, then
Right.
I'm gonna probably say, Carlos, can you go with me? Because
Yeah,
it doesn't
because they're
make
gonna
sense for me to
screen
try to
you.
do that.
Right, because they're gonna screen you. So, to your point, man, I just turned down. I forgot it was a pretty big job for. I just turned them down. Why? Because they're an out of state general contractor.
Yep. Yep.
And I'm having enough trouble with, like I don't know who they are. And I just
Yep.
told them, look, I'm gonna part with this relationship right now. Because they had already the company that we don't like, the company that did us dirty last week is called Frost. So we got a new
Yeah.
term. So anytime a company's feeling frosty, we need to walk away.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if it's feeling frosty, and I know you pray about stuff, it's the Holy
Yep,
Spirit. So it ain't
it's the
no
Holy Spirit.
coincidence.
Ain't no
You can choose to
coincidence.
obey or not, but
You
it's the Holy
choose.
Spirit.
That's right. And so one of the things this other company was asking for, man, was $5 million of liability insurance. I got $1 million. I have $1 million already.
Yeah.
They're asking for 5 million. I'm like, why would you need $5 million liabilities for me to come put down some line stripes? Like, that's an
Uh-huh.
unreasonable ask.
Yeah.
But they were
Yeah.
holding on to that, and that started to feel a little frosty. So
Uh-huh.
you're more concerned with your risk than you are with me as a small company taking on. That's more money for me, and for what?
Right. Right. Yeah. And you know what? That's the beauty of it. You can afford to walk away. So it's like,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And it's to afford to walk away. The other thing is, man, look, I can afford not to expend money because first, it's an outlay of money with these jobs before I start getting paid. So if
Yep.
I get a
Yep.
frosty feeling like you're not going to pay me, then yeah, it's easy to walk away. So,
Yep.
hey, man,
Yeah.
God bless you, brother. It's been, man, this meeting. I know I had a lot, bro, but I
That
told
was
you, man,
good
I was
stuff,
excited.
bro. It
Yeah,
was good stuff. All right,
and
man. We're gonna make progress. We're gonna make
yeah,
it
brother,
happen.
and I'm gonna send all this to you, man, right
All
away.
right, sounds good. All
All
right,
right,
have a
brother.
good one,
God
though.
bless. All
God
right, man.
bless.
Yeah.